Well, hello again and welcome to the year 2024. This video we're going to go ahead and recap of what I did on the year 2023. But before we get to that, we're going to go ahead and follow me for my final day, my final working day of 2023. We start on Christmas Day. I'm waking up in Anchorage, Alaska and operating from Anchorage, flying over to John F. Kennedy, New York, flying to Cincinnati, Ohio, and then I'm deadheading, flying commercially from Cincinnati to Dallas, Fort Worth, and then back home to Seattle, Washington. Yes, it is a very long day. Yes, we are heavily regulated on the amount of working hours that we can do, but the last two legs, so I'm operating from Anchorage to New York to Cincinnati, those are working days. Those are working legs. From there, I'm flying commercially, so it's deadheadings, and as far as the FAA is concerned, deadhead isn't duty. So deadheading doesn't really count to my duty day, especially when it's tacked on to the end of my duty day, because although I'm not working, I'm resting. But as anybody who's slept or tried to sleep on an airplane know that it's not the most restful sleep. So turns into a very long day. I think I'm awake for something like 30 hours or so. That's just before I even get home. And then I get home around 4 p.m. local time, and then, just have the rest of the day to probably, I stayed awake and, put the kids to bed and everything after that. But it is a very long day. Yes, I did get a nap in here and there. Yes, we can sleep on the aircraft when we're not in the cockpit actually flying the aircraft, because we do have our break periods. That doesn't necessarily mean that we are able to get any sleep. We are resting, we're not doing anything flight related, but that doesn't quite mean that we're able to fall asleep, because as you'll see, we run into turbulence, of course, at my time that it was to take a break. So I didn't really get a whole lot of sleep there. I kind of just laid in the bed and closed my eyes and tried to relax as much as I could and make sure that I was fit to fly for when it was my turn to re-enter the flight deck. So let's go ahead and get into it. Here's my last working day of 2023. Good morning and Merry Christmas. What time is it? I think it's 8:30 in the morning. It's still dark out, but that's not surprising because it's Anchorage and right now it's always dark out. I got a couple flights today going to JFK and then Cincinnati, and then I get to go home on tomorrow. The flight today doesn't take off. Well, now it's delayed. It doesn't take off till like 3 something. So that's probably going to come into effect later, unfortunately. But for now, it is Christmas. I'm going to go get some food and make some video calls. By the time I got stairs, it was pretty late towards the breakfast shift, so it was pretty slim pickings. They had some kind of a quiche. They used to have, I think it was breakfast sandwiches. Of course, they were out by the time I got there. So my only real option was the hard-boiled egg and some oatmeal that I spruced up because it was Christmas. After all, I had to make it something special. And after that, I headed back up to my room so I could call the family in time to say, "Good morning, Merry Christmas." After that, I was pretty awake, and I had a couple hours to burn before I had to get ready for my flight. So I went to head down to the gym and get a quick workout in. With my job, I do a lot of sitting up there on the flight deck, so I'm not always as active as I'd like to be, so I gotta try and stay fit somehow. Well, here we go. I'm heading downstairs to meet the crew. First leg from Anchorage to JFK. It was a pretty cool day up in Anchorage, Alaska. I think it was in the 20s. It was snowing very lightly, but that's enough to accumulate on the wings and deteriorate lift. As you can see, the ice trucks are taking care of this aircraft, making sure that it's safe to fly. Cold day here at Anchorage. Just started snowing. Got the de-ice trucks going. Got the snow plows going. So far the plane looks like it's pretty good, so hopefully we'll be able to get out of here pretty soon. Alright, here we go. The ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 3 by 3, the little ones to climb a tree. And they go, whoa, go, On this first leg, I was the IRP, or the relief pilot, so the two guys stayed up in front, and I went and go back and take my hour-and-a-half break. This is the bunk that we use, where I try and get a little bit of sleep. So as you can see, it's a pretty small fit in the bunk area. I have about 1 hour and, well, probably an hour 30 minutes now till I have to be back up, so I'm going to try and take a quick nap if I can. If not, then there's plenty of coffee on board. Getting kind of bumpy here now. I don't think I'm going to get any sleep. That happens. I didn't get any sleep, so guess we'll make another pot of coffee and get to it. Well, unfortunately, I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, but like I said, we do have a lot of coffee on the aircraft. I generally try and delay my caffeine intake towards the end of the day when I actually need it, but like I said, we don't have too many operating legs on this one. This is from Anchorage, Alaska to JFK, so it is our longer leg for the day. So I didn't mind go ahead and get started on my coffee. The leg from JFK to Cincinnati is a fairly short one, so it's pretty easy to stay active and stay awake on that flight. For here, we're going to go ahead and get started on coffee. Well, we made it to New York. We weren't quite sure we were going to make it in. It's pretty foggy out. We came in with 187,000 pounds of stuff, and we're leaving with like 27 pounds of stuff before we head over to CVG, or Cincinnati. So I don't know if we're taking anything with us all the way through, or we are just offloading a bunch of things. But they rebooked my flight out of Cincinnati, so hopefully we'll get in there without too much of a delay. With the weather here in New York being foggy, there might be a backup of aircraft that are trying to take off. So we'll see. We'll see what time we get out of here. We're scheduled to depart in like 45 minutes, but I mean, they only just opened the doors over here, so it's going to be a while before for them to offload, 150,000 pounds of stuff. So here we are, end of leg one, on to the next one. So for this leg, I am in the flying seat. I'll be pilot monitoring for this one, I think. Short flight, hour and a half. Supposed to depart in 33 minutes. That's not happening. With the first leg under our belt, we turned around and headed west as we chased the moon as it was setting and the sun rising behind us as we're heading into Cincinnati, Ohio to complete our second working leg. Once on the ground, we got picked up from the shuttle from the airplane and they took us to the terminal where we're going to wait our Uber to head to the passenger side. The end of leg two. We're waiting for our car to take us to the airport, to the passenger side of the terminal so we can try and catch our flight. Myself and the captain were going to Dallas, and then I catch a flight home after that. Kind of depends on how soon the car gets here. Our flight starts boarding in like 15-20 minutes, so hoping we don't have trouble getting through security. Otherwise, well, either way, we're gonna be running through the airport, so yay. All right, good news, we made it through the airport, made it through security without a problem. Our flight starts boarding probably very soon, but it departs in about 1 hour. So I have a couple minutes to take a breather after I run to my gate and make sure it's there. I did have a little bit of time to burn as I was waiting for my airplane, so I used the bathroom stall, changed into some regular clothes, which is a huge relief. And about that time is when the caffeine started wearing off and I started getting real tired as I was waiting for my flight. So no, we are in Dallas, Texas. I guess I finished this leg number 3. I got a little bit of time before I gotta find my flight, and by a little bit of time I mean it boards in like 15 minutes. So I gotta run. I'm not too familiar with Dallas. Hopefully it's not too confusing. Okay, so that wasn't too hard. But I also did realize that we have reached the 24-hour mark of being awake, mostly. I think I slept probably about an hour on the flight. Either way, I'm tired. And I'm hungry. Should have took something off the plane. Unfortunately, I slept during the snacks on the flight from Cincinnati. So we'll see if I stay awake on this one. Got a premium seat on this one, which is a nice upgrade. Not a whole lot of a view, but I did have an extra leg room, which was very much appreciated. And after 4 flights, I finally get to see my home state of Washington as we're landing in SeaTac around 2:45 p.m. And of course, by the time I hit the road, it was about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it was traffic heading home. It took me about an hour. And as I said beginning of this video, this is a pretty common occurrence for go-home legs because, yes, I did operate the first 2 legs and I was well rested as far as the FAA is concerned. The second 2 legs, being commercial deadhead legs, they don't count towards my duty time. And so when it comes to the duty and rest period balance, this doesn't count towards that. It doesn't really count towards rest either because rest is pretty strictly mandated on it has to be, you have to be a near horizontal position, what it says. So basically, if the company gave us recliners or something and a quiet room and dark, then that does count towards rest period as far as the FAA is concerned. Now here, I didn't quite get a picture every hour because some of those hours I was trying to sleep or I was doing something duty related. But you can slowly see as the day goes on, those bags under my eyes get bigger and bigger and darker and darker. And that brings us to the end of the year 2023. It's been a pretty good year. It's been pretty busy. I got to fly to a lot of new places, fly with some new people, try some new food, see some new things, and it was overall a pretty good experience. For my total distance, I flew 115 flights for 770 hours. That averages to about 6.7 hours per flight, flying 306,257 nautical miles. That's just straight line distance. That's not including if we had to maybe deviate around some weather or come into the airspace in different ways. So that overall number is going to be much bigger. For the U.S., flew to 13 different states and cities. That does include places like Puerto Rico, Guam, Samoa, 4 different places in China, 3 places in Japan, 2 places in South Korea, and as well as flying into Bahrain, Belgium, Germany, and Canada. So thank you so much for joining me on 2023. We're looking forward to some new adventures in 2024. As always, if there's something that you want to see or any stories that you want to tell or something that you want me to explain, please feel free to reach out to me. Leave that in the comment section down below and get around to it. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, and let's go find some new adventures together. As always, thanks for flying. My name is Ryan.